What's going on? It's March 31st, and here are the reverse line movement picks of the day. So reverse line movement is a great way to see where the sharps or the professionals are putting their money, and you can figure this out by looking at just the line movement itself. So take a look at this game, for example. This is normal line movement, by the way, but this game today between the Cavaliers and the Nuggets, you can see how 65% of the betting volume went towards the over, and then 35% went towards the under. And so because a majority of the action went towards the over, they bumped the line up from 211 to 216. And what they're trying to do is they're hoping that at 216, the under looks a little bit better. And that's how normal line movement works, right? They want to make these as 50-50 as they can. Now, reverse line movement is the backwards of that. So take a look at 76ers versus Raptors, for example. This game opened up at 218.5 with 67% or the majority of the betting volume going towards the over. So even though at 218.5 people loved the over, they dropped the number down to 216, making the over look that much more appealing. And that doesn't make any sense. You know, you would expect them to make the under look better, but why are they continuing to promote the outcome that already is getting all the action? Well, the reason they do this is because the sharps have money on the under. And what the bookmakers are hoping is that, you know, if the sharps are right and if the over is the losing outcome, then they don't have to pay out 67% of the bettors. They only have to pay out 33%. And so it becomes a profit move on their part. But looking at reverse line movement, you can see where the sharps are putting their money, and you don't have to tail them if you don't want to, but for me, it's a good reference. And so for this game, you know that the sharps are going with the under. We also have Clippers and Hornets today, where it opened up at 215, and then 75% or the majority of the betting action already went to the under. So even though at 215 people loved the under, they bumped it up to 215.5, making the under look even more appealing. And that just means that the sharps are going with the over. The next game is Heat versus Wizards today. This game opened up at 214.5 with 79% or the majority of the betting action going towards the under. And then they bumped the line up to 216.5, you know, 2 whole points, making the under look really, really appealing. And that just tells you that the sharps are going with the over. And then the last NBA game today is going to be Thunder Knicks. This game opened up at 217.5 with 78% or the majority of the betting volume going towards the over. So even though at 217.5 people loved the over, they dropped it down half a point, making the over look more appealing. That just means that the sharps are going with the under. That's going to wrap it up for NBA, but we do have some MLB. So first game is going to be Braves-Phillies, where it opened up at 8.5. 68% or the majority of the betting volume went towards the over. So even though at 8.5 people loved the over, they dropped it down to just 8. You know, that makes the over look even better, and that means that the sharps are going with the under. The next game is going to be, next game is going to be Tigers at White Sox. This game opened up at 8. 73% of the betting volume went towards the over, and then they dropped it down to 7.5, meaning that the sharps are going with the under. The next game is going to be Rockies Diamondbacks. This game opened up at 9.5 with 80% of the majority going with the over. So even at 9.5, people loved the over. And then they dropped it down to just 9. And, you know, that's just going to entice people to continue clicking on this outcome. And that means that the sharps are liking the under. And then the last game today is going to be Cardinals-Dodgers. This game opened up at over/under 9. 86% or the majority of the betting volume went towards the over. And then they dropped it down half a point to 8.5, making the over look even more appealing. And that just means that the sharps are going with the under. So again, you don't have to tail the sharps if you don't want to, but for me, it's a good reference to see where the big money is going. So if it helps you out, let me know. And that's going to wrap it up for me today, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.